You weren't born a pirate. You were born poor, in a filthy port town, where the only jobs are starving slowly or dying fast. At 12, you're sold to a merchant ship. Not a sailor, cargo with legs. Welcome to the Royal Navy's little brother. Life aboard a merchant vessel is slavery with extra steps. Officers flog you for breathing wrong. The captain owns your spine. Then one night, a black flag appears on the horizon. Your ship surrenders without a shot. The pirates climb aboard, smiling. The pirate captain asks one question: join us, or row home in a leaky boat. You think about the whip. You choose the flag. Welcome to piracy, the only job in the 1700s with elections, paid sick leave, and a very strict dress code, none. This isn't chaos. Pirate ships run on a written contract, the Articles. You sign it, or you don't sail. Break the Articles, face pirate justice. Steal from a crewmate? Marooned on a sandbar with one pistol and one bullet. This is your new world. No kings, no nobles. Just rope, rum, and a vote that decides everything, even who lives. Welcome aboard. You are now a pirate of the Golden Age. Try not to die of scurvy before the adventure even starts. First surprise, you elect your captain. Yes, pirates vote. Lose his nerve in a fight, and he's voted out by sunset. The captain only has real power in battle. Otherwise, he eats the same gruel, sleeps in the same cramped bunk as you. Real power belongs to the quartermaster. He distributes food, settles disputes, and can overrule the captain on land. You sign the articles with a quill, or, if you can't write, an X. Either way, you're bound by pirate law now. Rule 1, no fighting aboard ship. Settle your grudge on land, with pistols, like civilized criminals. Rule 2, lights out at 8 unless you're drinking on deck. Gambling and smoking below decks burns ships down fast. Rule 3, every man gets a vote on where to sail, who to attack, and when to retreat. Democracy at gunpoint. You vote on everything except cleaning duty. Somehow that always falls on the newest guy. That's you. Your weapons are issued, not given. A cutlass, a flintlock pistol, maybe 2 if you're lucky and someone died recently. Your real enemy isn't the Royal Navy yet. It's boredom, hunger, and the slow rot setting into the wooden hull beneath you. Compensation isn't a wage. It's a share. The articles spell out exactly how the loot splits, before a single coin is found. Captain gets 1.5 shares. Quartermaster, the same. You, an ordinary pirate, get exactly 1. Fair, brutal, simple. Lose an eye in battle? The articles pay compensation. Lose a leg? More gold. Pirates invented insurance before insurance existed. This isn't kindness. It's recruitment. Disabled men still need a reason to risk dying for the crew. The captain can't just take extra loot. Steal from the crew, and you're the next man marooned on a sandbar. Loot isn't only gold. Cloth, sugar, tools, medicine, anything sellable gets weighed, counted, and divided on deck. You don't spend money at sea, there's nothing to buy but salt water. The real party happens onshore, in port towns. In port, your share vanishes in days, rum, gambling, women, and bribing officials to look the other way. Broke again within a week, you're back on the ship, ready to risk your neck for the next haul. The cycle never ends. This is the pirate economy: steal, divide, spend, repeat, until the rope or the cannonball ends the cycle for good. Now the ugly part. Pirate ships are floating disease factories. Welcome to your new home, damp, dark, and crawling with rats. Fresh water spoils in wooden barrels within weeks. You drink it anyway, green, slimy, and full of wriggling things. Food is hardtack, a biscuit so hard you soak it in coffee just to chew it without breaking a tooth. Salted meat, weeks old, crawling with maggots. You pick them out, or you eat them. Protein is protein. No fresh fruit means no vitamin C. Within weeks, your gums bleed, your teeth loosen, your joints scream. Scurvy has arrived. Sailors call it the scourge of the sea. It kills more pirates than cannonballs ever will. A slow, rotting death. Hygiene? A bucket. Shared by 40 men. The smell below decks could knock out a horse from 50 paces. Lice infest every scalp. Fleas hide in every blanket. You scratch constantly, it's just background noise of pirate life now. Rats don't just steal your food. They chew through ropes, gnaw wooden beams, and sometimes nibble sleeping toes at night. A surgeon, if you have one, is usually a drunk who learned anatomy by sawing limbs off screaming men. Lucky you. Tropical fevers wait in every port: yellow fever, malaria, dysentery. The jungle kills more pirates than the Navy does. You sweat through fevers in a hammock, surrounded by men too sick to help, too scared to leave you alone. If you survive the fever, you're tougher than most kings. If you don't, they wrap you in canvas and feed the sea. There's no funeral speech, just a quick prayer and a splash. The ship sails on. The sea doesn't wait for grief. Despite the filth, pirates wash more than you'd think: seawater baths, vinegar rinses. Still, you smell like a dead fish. Your clothes rot from salt and sweat. You patch them with sailcloth, stolen silk, anything that holds together for one more week. Boots are a luxury. Most pirates go barefoot, better grip on a slick, swaying deck during a storm. A storm hits without warning. Waves taller than the mast. You cling to rope, praying to whichever god still listens to pirates. More ships sink from storms than from battle. The ocean doesn't care about your flag, your code, or your dreams of gold. You survive the storm. Soaked, exhausted, alive. The crew cheers. For one night, the sea lost. Tomorrow, it tries again. Now the hunt begins. You're not looking for war, you're looking for an easy ship with a scared captain. Most pirates avoid fighting entirely. Reputation does the work: one glimpse of the black flag, and merchants surrender. A bloody reputation is currency. Blackbeard once lit fuses in his beard just to look like he'd crawled out of hell. Terror saves bullets. If the enemy surrenders without a fight, nobody dies, and you keep all the cargo intact. But sometimes a ship fights back. Then it's cannon fire, splinters flying, and the brutal scramble to board before they reload. Boarding is chaos, smoke, screaming, cutlasses clashing. You don't think. You swing, you duck, you survive or you don't. Grenades made of glass bottles packed with gunpowder explode on enemy decks. Crude, deadly, effective improvisation. Within minutes, it's over. The enemy crew surrenders, drops weapons, and prays you're a merciful kind of criminal. Then comes the search: every crate, every barrel, every hidden compartment. Gold isn't always obvious, sometimes it's sewn into coats. You take the ship's flag as a trophy, the captain's hat as a joke, and everything sellable as payment for the risk. Sometimes you need more than gold, you need heads. Bounty hunting is a side business even pirates dabble in. Colonial governors post rewards for captured or dead criminals. A name on a list means coin in your pocket. Proof of death isn't a photograph, it's a head, salted in a barrel, delivered personally to collect the reward. It's gruesome work, but pirates aren't picky about income. Honor doesn't fill an empty stomach. Some pirates hunt other pirates. Betraying your own kind for a fat reward, loyalty has a price tag too. The most famous bounty of the era, Blackbeard himself. 500 pounds on his head, and the Navy wanted him dead, not alive. 1718, Ocracoke Inlet. Lieutenant Maynard's ships corner Blackbeard's sloop in shallow water. There's nowhere left to run. The fight is brutal, close quarters, blade against blade. Blackbeard takes 5 gunshots and 20 sword wounds before falling. His head is cut off, hung from the bowsprit as a trophy and a warning to every pirate watching from the shore. This is the lesson you learn fast: piracy doesn't end with retirement. It ends with a blade, a rope, or a bullet. Despite the danger, the flag still matters. Each pirate crew designs its own: skulls, bones, hourglasses, bleeding hearts. The flag isn't decoration. It's a message: surrender now, or face no mercy. Marketing, 18th century style. Some crews fly a red flag instead of black, meaning no quarter given. Red means everyone dies. Choose your surrender wisely. Your ship itself is usually stolen, fast sloops captured from smugglers, repainted and renamed within days. Speed matters more than size. A nimble ship outruns the Navy. A heavy galleon just makes you an easy target. You sail under false colors sometimes, flying a friendly flag until you're close enough to strike. Deception is a weapon too. Navigation relies on stars, compass, and rough hand-drawn charts. One wrong calculation and you're lost, or worse, wrecked on reefs. The Caribbean is your hunting ground: endless islands, hidden coves, perfect for ambush and even better for hiding loot. You bury treasure rarely, most loot gets spent fast. The myth of buried gold maps is mostly fiction, born from one famous case. That one case, Captain Kidd, buried treasure before his trial, hoping it would save his life. It didn't. Not every pirate is a man. And Bonnie and Mary Red fought, drank, and cursed alongside the roughest of crews. They disguised themselves at first, but everyone aboard eventually knew. On a pirate ship, skill mattered more than gender. When their ship was finally captured, the male crew surrendered below deck, drunk and terrified. The women fought on alone. Captured pirates faced trial and the gallows, but pregnant women got a temporary reprieve. Both women claimed pregnancy to survive. This is the strange truth of pirate life: brutal, lawless, yet sometimes fairer to outsiders than the empires hunting them. Many pirate crews include freed and escaped slaves, men who'd rather risk the gallows than return to chains. Aboard ship, your race, your past, your nation rarely matters. What matters is whether you fight well and follow the code. This equality has limits, of course. It's still a brutal life, but compared to the world onshore, the ship feels almost free. Freedom at sea is real, but it's borrowed time. Every pirate flag flown is an invitation for every navy to hunt you down. You are now officially an enemy of every empire on Earth. Congratulations. The hunt for you has already begun. The Royal Navy assigns entire squadrons just to hunt pirates. You're not a criminal anymore, you're a military target. Navy ships are faster, better armed, and crewed by trained soldiers, not desperate sailors. The odds are never in your favor. Your best defense is information, bribed officials, friendly smugglers, and rumors passed quietly through every tavern in the Caribbean. A pirate haven like Nassau offers shelter, no governor, no laws, just thousands of outlaws living by their own rules. But havens don't last. Eventually, empires send fleets to burn them down and reclaim what they call civilization. Some pirates accept the king's pardon, amnesty in exchange for quitting forever. Many take it. Few actually stop. Old habits die hard. Many pardoned pirates sail again within months, lured back by gold and the freedom they can't replace. Once you break a pardon, there's no mercy left. The next capture means an immediate trip straight to the gallows. You start to understand, this life only has one real ending. The question isn't if, but when, and how painfully. Halfway through your pirate career, and already you've buried more friends than family you remember from home. Mutiny is always simmering beneath the surface. A weak captain, a bad decision, and suddenly you're voting him off the ship. Mutiny doesn't always mean murder. Sometimes it's just marooning the old captain and electing someone new by morning. You watch your own quartermaster turn against the captain, not out of cruelty, but because the crew demanded change. Trust is currency rarer than gold aboard a pirate ship. Lose it, and the whole crew turns against you overnight. You learn to watch your back even among friends. Today's ally splits your skull tomorrow for an extra share of gold. A new prize ship is spotted, heavily armed, slow, loaded with silver. Too good to pass up, too dangerous to ignore. The vote is close, but the crew chooses greed over caution. You sail straight toward what might be your final battle. Cannons roar from both sides. Splinters fly, men scream, the deck shakes beneath your feet as chaos erupts everywhere. A cannonball tears through the rail beside you. The man next to you isn't standing anymore. You don't look down. You can't. You board the enemy ship anyway, screaming louder than the fear inside you. Survival now depends entirely on your blade. The battle is won, barely. Half your crew lies wounded or dead. The silver in the hold suddenly feels heavier with guilt. You bury your friends at sea without ceremony. There's no time for grief when the Navy might already be closing in. Word of your victory spreads fast through port towns. Your name now means something, feared, respected, or both. Fame brings opportunity, and danger. Every governor in the region now wants your head mounted somewhere visible. You're no longer just surviving. You're building a legend, the kind told in taverns for generations, true or not. But legends end somewhere. The most successful pirate careers in history rarely lasted more than 2 or 3 years. Most pirates die young, in battle, from disease, or at the end of a rope. Old age is the rarest treasure of all. You start counting your days differently now. Not in years, but in successful raids you might not survive. One morning, 3 Navy frigates appear on the horizon, sailing directly toward your ship. There's no outrunning this one. Your captain makes the call, fight, surrender, or run for the shallows where the big ships can't follow. The crew votes fast. You run for the shallows, scraping the hull across hidden reefs, praying the ship holds together long enough to escape. The Navy frigates can't follow into shallow water. For now, you've escaped. But they'll simply wait outside, patient as wolves. Trapped in a cove, supplies running low, the crew grows restless. Patience isn't a pirate's strongest virtue. Someone suggests a desperate plan, sneak past the blockade at night, using fog and silence instead of cannons. Under cover of darkness, you slip the ship through the gap, oars muffled, hearts pounding louder than the waves. It almost works. A lookout's lantern flickers on the Navy ship, they've spotted you. Cannons fire into the darkness. Your ship takes a hit below the waterline. Water floods in fast. The crew scrambles to plug holes with anything they find. You barely make it to a hidden inlet before the ship would have sunk completely. Exhausted, soaked, but alive, for now. Repairs take weeks. Every day spent hiding is a day closer to being found. The net around you keeps tightening. Your captain, once fearless, now looks tired. Even legends grow weary of running from empires that never stop hunting. A trusted crewmate disappears one night, along with a small rowboat. By morning, you understand, someone has betrayed you. He's gone to claim the king's pardon, and your location, in exchange for his own freedom. Loyalty has limits. Within days, Navy ships surround your hidden inlet. There's no more running. The repairs weren't finished in time. Your captain gathers the crew one final time. No vote this time, just a choice between fighting to the death or surrender. Some choose to fight, preferring a cannonball to a noose. Others lower their weapons, hoping for mercy that rarely comes. You watch your crew divide for the first and last time. The unity that once defined you crumbles under fear. The Navy doesn't negotiate gently. Cannon fire rips through your hull before any white flag can even be raised. Your ship is overwhelmed within the hour. Marines pour aboard, weapons drawn, rounding up every surviving pirate in chains. You're shackled below deck of a Navy vessel now, the same wooden boards that once carried merchant slaves carrying you instead. The irony isn't lost on you. The hunter has become the hunted, the free man now property of the very crown he defied. Weeks pass in the dark hold, fed scraps, watched constantly, sailing slowly toward whichever colonial port holds your trial. You arrive at port to crowds, not cheering crowds, but ones eager to see justice, or simply entertainment, served publicly. Pirate trials move fast. There's little interest in due process when the verdict was decided the moment you raised that flag. The prosecutor reads your crimes aloud: robbery, violence, defiance of the crown. Each word adds another nail to your fate. You're allowed to speak, briefly. Some pirates beg for mercy. Others, defiantly, curse the very king who'll execute them. The verdict was never really in doubt. Guilty, on every charge. The judge's gavel sounds louder than any cannon you've heard. Sentence: death by hanging, at the public gallows, as a warning to every sailor who dreams of the black flag. You're given days, sometimes weeks, in a cramped cell, enough time to reflect on every choice that led you here. Some pirates write final letters. Others simply stare at the wall, replaying battles, betrayals, and brief moments of freedom. Execution day arrives whether you're ready or not. The sun rises just like any other morning, except this one is your last. Crowds gather early, some out of morbid curiosity, others to celebrate the death of a man they call a monster. You're marched through the streets in chains, the same streets where you once spent stolen gold in taverns and brothels. Some pirates manage one last act of defiance, laughing at the crowd, spitting at officials, refusing to show fear. Famous pirate Captain Kidd's rope actually snapped during his first hanging. They simply tied a new one and tried again. This is Execution Dock, London, where pirates are hanged at low tide and left until three tides wash over the body. The rope is short on purpose, slow strangulation, not a quick snap. The crowd watches every agonizing second. This isn't justice. It's theater, a public spectacle meant to terrify every sailor who ever dreamed of an easier life. Afterward, some bodies are coated in tar and hung in iron cages along the river, a warning visible for years. This is the true ending for most Golden Age pirates. Not a treasure island. Not a happy retirement. Just a rope and a crowd. Out of thousands who sailed under the black flag, only a handful ever lived long enough to spend their treasure in peace. So why did so many men choose this path, knowing it usually ended in early death? The answer is simpler than you'd think. Compare it to the alternative, a sailor's life under brutal naval discipline, low pay, and just as much risk of dying anyway. On a pirate ship, at least you had a vote, a fair share, and a few wild years of freedom before the end. For men born with nothing, piracy offered something the empires never could: equality, however brief, however dangerous. The Golden Age lasted barely 30 years, roughly 1690 to 1730, before navies finally crushed it through sheer force. Trade routes were secured, havens destroyed, and the romantic chaos of piracy faded into legend and exaggerated legend. What remained were stories, wildly exaggerated by writers, turning brutal criminals into charming, treasure-hunting heroes. Real pirates rarely buried treasure, rarely said arrr, and definitely didn't make people walk the plank for fun. The eye patch wasn't fashion, some pirates wore them to keep one eye adjusted to darkness for fighting below decks. The parrot myth comes from real exotic pets pirates brought home from the tropics, sold for huge sums in European ports. Modern movies gave pirates rum bottles, wisecracks, and charming smiles. Reality gave them scurvy, gunpowder, and early graves. Yet the myth persists because the truth is almost too wild to believe: ordinary men briefly living outside every rule. You were never meant to become a legend. You were just trying to survive a world that offered you nothing else. But somewhere between the cannon fire, the votes, the storms, and the gallows, your name became something more than that. Pirates of the Golden Age weren't simply villains or heroes. They were desperate men who built their own brutal kind of justice. Their democracy, equality, and fairness existed centuries before such ideas became common on land. An ugly but real revolution. So, were you a hero, a criminal, or simply a man caught between starvation and freedom? History rarely gives a clean answer. Who would survive longer at sea, a pirate of the Golden Age or a Viking raider? We ran the simulation. The result might surprise you. Want the brutal truth about samurai, knights, and ancient warriors? We never sugarcoat history. The next story is already waiting. If you enjoyed sailing through history with us, hit like and subscribe. More brutal, true stories are coming your way soon.